If you want to know what I think, I won't give that up for free. Put a penny in the crusher, on the back's my memory. I'll hold real still, you take the shot, but I don't want to see whether it turns out or not, it's all the same to me. If you want to know how I feel, put me down and walk away. My hands are already bloodied here in bed. I think I'll stay. In dreams I face dread most, mundane when walking down the street. My pounding heart shocks me awake the moment our eyes meet.
All right. I am not feeling super awesome today, but the show must go on. I have some prepared statements here to read. Here we go. Welcome to the 5th episode of Us at Our Worst, a caregiver's unvarnished account of cancer and dementia care. Episode 5 is appropriately titled, "The Parking Deck is on Fire." I think you'll like this one a lot. I'm also reading this one while I am running a fever and I have a very sore throat. Hopefully I can make it through without coughing a lot. All right, here are the upfront disclaimers. Each episode of Us at Our Worst will be available as a podcast for listening and on YouTube for viewing. Though I will be reading directly from the as of yet unpublished manuscript, I will also be adding in commentary to help give a fuller picture of events. Think of these talks like bonus episodes on a DVD, if you're old enough to have ever used a DVD. I also need to add in some disclaimers. Us at Our Worst is a non-fiction account that covers topics such as terminal cancer, terminal dementia, and specifically what I believe was behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. It includes tales of physical and emotional abuse. There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of acute depression. Not the cute kind, but acute, like sharp. We'll be talking about child abuse. We'll be talking about madness. That's probably my favorite one in the list to say, madness. I'll be discussing generational family trauma. And finally, let's not forget, drug addiction. So, you have a front row seat to a grim reality. Why am I going through with this at all? Because people shouldn't have to go through such things alone. Caregiving is lonely. It doesn't always have to be, perhaps, but it certainly was for me. And I just have to say, you can probably hear the cicadas going crazy in the background here, just in case you're wondering what that extra sound is. Okay, and if even one person out there finds comfort in knowing that I went through and survived all of this, and it's the same thing that they are going through, then that is my why. It's to give them hope, or at least understanding. Are you still listening? Okay then. Here we go. First up is a little something I recorded when I was recently in Charlottesville. Yes, I was in Charlottesville in July of 2025. So we're going to start off with that. All right, here's your special intro to episode 5. I've got 24 minutes till checkout, and I am here doing this in daylight, which if you watch the video versions of these, you'll know is rare. Actually hasn't happened yet, I don't think. But this is a little different because I am in Charlottesville. Strangely enough, completely unplanned, while releasing the episodes of this podcast, I had scheduled a trip to go visit my dad, who, as you can probably foretell, is a major player in upcoming episodes. I haven't mentioned Dad a ton, but well, I guess maybe I have mentioned Dad a ton. I always feel like the the focus of my journal entries was mom, but definitely dad's always, he's omnipresent. And so I came out here to visit dad in Charlottesville, where he now lives, because let's see, what's the date? It is July 6th, 2025. And so dad is still alive, 85 years old. And as you can probably imagine from the content of the first 4 episodes, our relationship definitely took quite a beating, because remember, the title of this whole thing is Us at Our Worst. Dad was at his worst. I was at my worst. Mom was at her worst. The medical team, I felt like many of them were at their worst. So anyway, yeah, I'm here, and I'm just like, okay, it would be crazy to be in Charlottesville and to not say something topical while I'm in Charlottesville, since pretty much a large amount of the stuff that went down happened right here in this town. Yeah, but I'm not sure what to say. It's always interesting being here. I went for a long walk last night. I walked for about 3 miles in the darkness. I walked along the Ravenna Trail, which is a bike path, hike path, along the Ravenna River here in town, and just knew I needed time to just think about things. And so I definitely thought a lot about all the things we went through here. And it's weird. If someone asked me, have you lived in Charlottesville? I would say, oh yeah, I've lived in Charlottesville. But I've never lived in Charlottesville. But coming up here for all those treatments definitely left, Charlottesville has left an indelible impression on me, just because when you're bringing someone to a specific city and a specific hospital, and you likely know that this is what's going to be the end of their life, this whole cascade of events happens in this town, this is where it's all going to fall apart, then every restaurant you go to, every coffee shop, every place you try to go to seek solace, it's absolutely just so solidly ingrained in your memory. You just never forget those places. And I'll also say, though, that I was pondering last night how my relationship to those places has changed. Places, that I never wanted to see again because of the association has shifted. Now, I like seeing these places. I love being in Charlottesville. But by the time we finished coming up here a lot, and by the time later on, in part of the story I'll get to, by the time Dad and I decided that he would move into a retirement community in Charlottesville, holy shit, I never wanted to come back to this place. I was just like, no. Yeah, but now I love visiting Charlottesville. So I guess I just wanted to reflect on how your relationship to places, like if you're in the middle of the awfulness right now, I'm just saying there's a chance that if you're sitting there thinking, I hate this town, I hate everyone in it, I can't stand it, I never want to come back to this place, it might change. You might end up totally shifting, because I guess even though the title of this whole thing is Us at Our Worst, it's funny, I never thought about this till just now. 5 years later, I can look back on it and go, it was also us at our best. Yeah, so that's some food for thought. Wait, and I need to qualify that statement. It was us at our best, meaning our best was pretty bad, but it was our best. And it took me time, a lot of time. I'm talking 5 years of working things around in my mind till I could finally come to that conclusion and be like, yeah, that was us trying our absolute best. Because still, I will always maintain everyone's always doing their best to handle a situation. Even if we're not happy with how they're handling it, that's still their best. And the same applies to us. I can look back on these journal entries and go, wow, I was so lost. I was grasping at straws. I was just lost. And that was me at my best back then. Anyway, it's an interesting thing. I never thought about this till now. Doing our best, us at our worst. Same thing at the same time. Anyway, all right, that's my official intro sidebar to this episode 5. By the way, 5 is my lucky number. So, yeah. So Dad's picking me up, though I don't normally like him to drive. Dad's picking me up, and then I'll have him get in the passenger seat. He knows the drill. And then I'm flying out today back to Iowa City. All right. And now on with the rest of the show. Us at Our Worst, episode 5, recorded on July 9th, 2025. And I am actually going to start off with a little extra addendum, even though we just had one. It's something that I meant to add into that one, that first one. Like after I hit the stop record button in the hotel, like within 10 minutes, I was like, oh man, I wish I had added this. And here's the thing is, you know, I interviewed my dad today while I was in his apartment before we had to leave to get to the airport. And I interviewed him for like an hour and a half, and I recorded it, and I'm going to turn that into a transcript. And it reminds me also of when his dad was interviewed by the Sanibel Museum, the Sanibel Historical Society down in Florida, because my grandfather is related to the original settlers on Sanibel Island, which of course means the same for my dad and same for me. But I was just thinking about how there's a tradition there, and I thought, wow, why didn't I ever interview my mom? Well, I mean, Dad's 85 now, and it wouldn't have occurred to me to interview him 5 years ago. But, you know, the same applies to Mom. It's like when I visit my dad now that he's 85, neither of us are in the dark about what the reality is. We both know this is, in all likelihood, the last visit. Most people don't live to the age of 85. And so anytime you visit your parents, if you don't live near them, you should be thinking, wow, this is great. I get to see them one more time. That's how I see it, at least. And you get to have a gradual, I would say sort of goodbye. You see them slowing down. Of course, at my age, hell, I'm already slowing down. But my point is there's time. There's time to process things. There's time to say goodbye. And with Mom, there was no time to say goodbye. By the time I realized just how much the dementia had affected her mental state, it was already too late. And I think that happens to a lot of us, where you have that empty feeling where you're like, they were gone before I realized it, you know, because they seemed to act normal in short-term visits. But then maybe when you spent more time with them, you got to see just how bad off they were. And then you're like, oh, wow, fuck. They're already gone to the point that it's not going to make sense to try to have certain conversations with them. So you've already missed your window, and you never got the chance to have that time. And that sucks. But I'm glad at least I get to have it with Dad, and we can like joke about death and dying and so forth. Because if you're not joking about death and dying at 85, you're really not paying attention. All right, now the episode. So we're starting this episode 2 days after Mom's first chemo treatment, and consequently 2 days after our first night at Stewart's Free House in Charlottesville. If you remember, we had just sort of the last entry ended with me sitting downstairs at Stewart's house thinking about how Mom had enough drugs sitting next to her bed to start a solid street corner side hustle. So here we are 2 days later. All right, let me get to the right page here, though. Let me get some water. All right. This is recorded Wednesday 30th, October 2019. The title of this entry is What the Actual Fuck? I recorded it at 8:43 p.m. and I was at the Dublin 3 coffee shop in Lynchburg, Virginia. The entry starts off, I don't even know what to say. Really? I'm at Dublin 3 in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's a coffee shop down by the James River, about 6 miles from my parents' new home here. So why are we here and not in Charlottesville? Good question. A real foot tapper. I don't know what to say. Today was just fucking off the charts stressful and all around a major shit show. Snapshot notes I made over the last 2 days might be out of order. Here's the first entry. I hear a loud sound. I run up the steps. Mom, are you okay? I see Mom receding from the top of the steps at Stuart's house, heading back to her room. She was trying to hide the fact that she'd been attempting to navigate the stairway alone. My number one rule of Stuart's house is, and this is written in all caps, Mom does not do the steps solo. Well, after I caught her doing this, she had a smile on her face. She snickered and she says to me in a childish voice, I didn't do it, see? I changed my mind. That's way too dangerous. Next snapshot. I wake up and I go to get her ready for the social services appointment today at the hospital. She's moving like a drunken whirlwind, frenetic, hyped up, hopped up, and coming down from Ativan? Question mark. She's breathing heavily. She's already dressed, and she's saying things that don't make sense. Tangential, disjointed. I am at a loss again. And I say in parentheses here, I have learned since that mixing dementia with drugs like Ativan can have unexpected results. I guess that's really a sidebar there that I included. And yeah, I'll just say a little addendum to that sidebar is that if you talk to enough doctors that deal with the elderly and you can get them to admit it, they will admit that dementia absolutely has a tie-in with dementia symptoms increasing when you take drugs like Ativan or benzos or other types of things. It's something that I never really hear doctors talk about, but I have had some doctors approach me privately and say, yeah, there's a really obvious connection, but no one's proving it scientifically. Next snapshot. We've been at the hospital and we are now trying to leave. We did valet parking. The parking deck is on fire. Yes, on fire. We are not leaving. The valets confirm this fact. Next snapshot. We are at the cafeteria at the hospital, killing time. Why? Because the car deck is on fire. Mom is freaking. She wants hot chocolate. She wants an English muffin. She says, nothing is working. I can't believe this. The bread won't be hot anymore. None of these hot chocolates are the right ones. Oh, and the deck is on fire. Then my laptop quits working. Oh, and my motherfucking cell phone won't connect to anything. And it's on 10% power. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. Also, did I mention the parking deck is on fire? Next snapshot. This morning, my dad says to Mom, we can't have you taking Ativan again unless it's an emergency. Mom agrees. She says it's too strong. She says it's scary strong. She confesses to us that she woke up 4 times during the night and that during those times she had no idea where she was and that she couldn't even find her way out of the room. I ask her about the CPAP mask fiasco where she forgot how to put it on. She has no memory of it. Next snapshot. Mom schedules a hair appointment for Wednesday morning. She suddenly announces, I must get a haircut. That's the priority. I try hard not to laugh, but I am laughing as I write this. There will ever only be one Phyllis Morris. She then tilts her scheming head to the side and she thinks out loud, I need to take an Ativan tonight. Can't risk having breakthrough nausea at that hair appointment. I won't miss this chance to get a haircut. She now loves the phrase, breakthrough nausea. Oh my God, does she love it. Anyway, I'm imagining seeing her upstairs again, stumbling down the steps to get some water while under the influence of Ativan. This is what we all have to face if we stay on this path. I feel lucky it didn't already happen. I say, Mom, we all three agreed earlier this morning that Ativan was now a last resort. She says in response, this is a special case, and you are not in charge. You will not rob me of this chance to get a haircut. I try to disrelate the two concepts for her. Now, Mom, Ativan means you may end up with a broken leg, so please take a different medication that doesn't make you drunk. She digs in hard. Charlie, let me make myself perfectly clear. You are not in charge of my life, my medications, or what I do. You need to stop this right now. I will not be told what to do. I don't scream, but I definitely yell because this is not how this is going to go. If I don't take charge right now, it's all going to spin out of control. I say to her, if you want someone else in here doing everything that I'm doing, then bring them the fuck in, and I'll go about my business elsewhere. But while I'm here, my job is to keep you on track, alive, uninjured, and not falling down fucking stairways. If you want to take your Ativan then, fine, but you can't sleep alone. Dad has to sleep in your room as a precaution to you wandering around and accidentally getting injured. She hates this. She says, I won't be treated like this. Ativan had no effect on me. None. Then Dad says, Charlie, I don't think it affected her that much after all. She was just tired. That's all. So there they were, both arguing that Mom reserves the right to take Ativan, get high as a kite, and stumble around at the top of a steep staircase while Dad and I are asleep. I say, are you both really doing this for real? Dad and Mom, fact or fiction, does Ativan make someone drowsy, disoriented, forgetful, confused, unsteady? Dad says, maybe, and he shrugs his shoulders. Mom literally says to me, well, it doesn't do that to me. I would know. She says I imagined all of it. She says I'm exaggerating. I am nearly apoplectic. How will I keep this woman safe? She says, I don't have to listen to you. Then suddenly she says, I want to go shopping now. What the fuck? No, Mom, we are not going shopping. You're exhausted. You have only 2 hours before your radiation. We need to get you home to rest. You're on the edge of collapse. She says, no. I said, take me shopping now. I am not your prisoner. I respond, Mom, I'm taking you home to sleep. That's how it's going to be. You can't make me. What will you do? Drag me out of the car? So, in retrospect, today was a lot about me realizing deeper and deeper how it's all on me. I realize I can't do it. I realize I'll be living at the top of the goddamn steps at Stuart's house. I am the only one who seems to be able to recognize the danger. Even without her meds influencing her, she'll go for those fucking steps. Yeah, she will, because of the dementia, and she'll fall and break her goddamn legs. We do the evening radiation. I talk to Dad. And sidebar, I believe this was in the radiation waiting room while Mom was in the back. And I say, Dad, we have to get out of the house or Mom will break her legs on those steps. And he just totally agrees with me. Priority number 1, single level home where we can more easily control what Mom does for her own safety that is available immediately. Solution, that's their home in Lynchburg. We'll figure out the long commute situation later. Case closed. We are leaving Stuart's house effective immediately. So here I am on Wednesday at Dublin 3 Coffee Shop, amazed at the outright stunning beauty of the women here with smiles I'll never get to enjoy up close. I assume I'll never get to know what it's like to be close to beauty again. This is my life, and currently I see no end to the caretaking. That other stuff, sex, companionship, joy, laughter, holding hands, that's for the free. Next entry, gonna be a long one. Thursday, 31st of October, 2019, time and location various. Update, 9:28 a.m. I am at Dublin 3 Coffee House. I managed to escape my mom for a little bit before we depart for the hospital at around 12 noon. I haven't showered since Saturday. My hair is a mess. I'm unshaved. I'm likely a bit smelly. The bags under my eyes have packed and brought their own bags with them. They have a vacation planned. I should be working right now, trying to cram in some remote work for the one reliable client that I still have left down in Carborough, North Carolina, but all I'm really hearing right now is the drumbeat from my mom. Here's a recent quote. I am going through something awful, and I want you to know that I messed that up. All right, sorry, let me repeat that. I am going through something awful, and I want to know what you are going to do to fix it. And if you can't fix it for me, it just means that you aren't trying hard enough. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff she would say to me. Right now, though, I have to work to keep the one paying client I have. So I'm listening to Soul, Get Myself With You, on my headphones in this lovely coffee shop while creating social media content. Sidebar, look up the song. It's a great K-pop song. Go K-pop, K-pop forever. Back to my story. I ordered hash browns and an egg sandwich and a cafe latte to help me escape feeling like I am 5 years of age, or 12 years old, or 18 years old, trying to escape the feeling that somehow I never actually grew up and raised kids of my own, and now I'm just trapped as a man-child in my parents' house. Update, 11 a.m., still at the coffee shop. It's critical that she stay well hydrated because of the chemo. She needs a hydrated system in order to not hit toxicity with the chemo. She'll be in the hospital for days if she isn't hydrated enough. And conversely, she must poop. Being constipated has its own downsides. Anyway, yesterday, she pooped. Great. Then she immediately started in with, okay, where's my Imodium? For those that don't know, Imodium is just the over-the-counter drug that people take for diarrhea. I say, okay, Mom, you pooped once. Calm down. She says, oh, what do you know? You aren't me. I can't handle having diarrhea. Mom, you just went 2 days without pooping, and now you have pooped once. Let's not sound the alarm. She pooped later in the day, like a normal person. Then she was full-on panicked, desperate to not get diarrhea. What? Why? How? She wanted me to call in a prescription for Lamotil, which is a prescription-strength drug to counter diarrhea. Think of it like Imodium times 5. I wish the docs hadn't told her about that drug at all. If you tell my mom that there is a stronger drug, then she will make sure that she is the patient that needs it. Sidebar, I'm really enjoying this exact moment because I know there are people out there who just shook their head in agreement and was like, fuck yeah, someone gets it. Okay, back to the story. I feel like it's her way of being strong in some backwards way. Like she wants the doctors to be saying, wow, that Phyllis Morris, her illness is so bad that she needed the strongest medications we had to offer. So instead of being strong herself, she sees herself as stronger if she needs strong medicine. She's given up on inner resilience completely. Medicines are her power move. So yesterday morning, I woke up to her complaining loudly to my father at 8 a.m. He was calling up the hospital to get that emergency prescription for Lomitol. This powerful med will stop her diarrhea and all other pooping, possibly for days, creating a likely bowel obstruction because Mom also refuses to drink any water for the last few days. It will essentially create a belly brick, is what they call it, because she isn't doing the right things. Then she'll be in the hospital as a patient for that instead of getting cancer treatments. Mom misses the call from the nurse because she can barely operate her cell phone because she has dementia. As instructed, her nurse calls me as the next main contact on the list. In a sidebar here, when you recognize that your parent has cognitive issues or that they are just overwhelmed, make sure that you are on all of the doctor office's call lists. That's just a little friendly advice from me. And sidebar, I picked up the call at the Dublin 3 Coffee House just a bit ago. I tell the nurse the real deal, that Mom has increasing dementia and is a lifelong pill popper and an expert hypochondriac. The nurse is clear with me. She says, and I quote, Lomitol is a last resort. The nurse says to me, sounding a bit hounded, "Your mom is a special case. We are not used to someone making this many demands at each and every symptom." I concur, and I apologize on behalf of my mother. I then call mom at home to get her to calm down, and I ask her to please stop going after the nurses on the support line in order to get more fucking drugs. She shouts into the phone, "It's all their fault. They're making me this way. How could they do this to me, leaving me all alone like this, with all these symptoms?" Well, apparently my time at the coffee shop is suddenly over. I have to go to the house and calm her down and get her ready to leave for the hospital for her radiation. Update 2 p.m., hospital waiting room at the RAD clinic. We arrive at the RAD clinic just in time to see the patient walking out, who always wears his, and this is a quote, "Real Men Rock Pink," end quote, shirt every single day so far. He's been here, I think, every day we've been. He also wears a pink baseball hat and pink Nikes. And I say all this like we've all been doing this for months, like I've seen this guy a million times, because we already feel like veterans here. It's hard to believe that this is only our 6th day in the radiology clinic. Also, why can't my mom be that guy? He's fired up. He's facing the facts. He's embracing the suck and getting it done with flair. It's not an exaggeration to say it feels like we've been at this for months already, like we've seen pink shirt guy 100 times by now. He's part of the furniture we already take for granted in an old house. These places have a time-bending effect. It's like time moves 100 times slower down here, beneath street level, in the basement of the hospital, where people get irradiated, get sick, and pray for miracles. You hear the shushing of the piped-in air. You hear the occasional beep of someone's phone, reminding you that somewhere out there are people sending messages to us unfortunates way, way, way down here. Nurses walk in and out. You hear the swishing of their clothing. The bored person behind the reception desk has 3 fingers pushing into her cheek, her elbows on the desk. She's probably checking her Facebook. The elevator says, "Ground floor," as the doors open, expelling another slow-moving patient. Hold on, I need some water. It makes me feel guilty and superior. That's the truth. I'm 5'6". I weigh about 180 pounds. I'm fairly fit for my age. When I pass through the pharmacy areas with all the ill folks and hunched over folks and exhausted folks waiting for their pills, I feel guilty. Like maybe if I limped a little, I would feel better when they look at me. Instead, I'm breezing through on legs that can still carry me effortlessly up stadium steps. And I'm swinging my 48-year-old arms that can still throw kettlebells through the air with ease. I feel like I'm cheating at life. I also feel like if I have to keep living like this, that I'll soon join them. And sidebar, what I meant there is if I have to keep taking care of mom, I'll end up getting cancer and being that sick. Back to the story. Mom just sighed and rolled her eyes at me. We're sitting in the waiting room as per usual. The appointment is for 2 p.m. She's already impatient. It's never different. No matter how many times you tell her the facts, she always expects everything to be in her favor, and when it isn't, she can't not fucking stand it. But lately, what I've noticed is that she can't hold on to it. I think it's the dementia. I think it's the meds. But really, I think I can't discern which is affecting her more at this point. It's 2:07 p.m. now, and see now, this is new also. She's already forgotten to be impatient. She's suddenly looking peaceful. The storm passes for now. See? Which one is it? Meds? Dementia? Who is running her mind now? On the drive up here, she said at least 15 nonsensical things to me. Some of them also were just said to no one. Looking out the window she was, and just saying things that didn't make sense. Here's a list. "Oh, let's get a sandwich up at the crossroads," and she points to the store. I say, "Okay, Mom." I pull the car into the parking lot of the Crossroads store. "Oh, Are we getting a sandwich here? She asks. Yeah, Mom, you asked me to stop here. No, I didn't. I say, well, let's just try it anyway. And that's what I call misdirection. And then she goes, is this a gas station? And yeah, this is a gas station that we have been to numerous times by now, and that's an understatement. It's our regular stop, in fact. It's the Crossroads store on the Plank Road off of Highway 29. Mom and Dad have been stopping at the Crossroads store for actual decades. Everyone who drives Highway 29 between Charlottesville and Points South knows this store well. It's a landmark. I say to her, yes, this is a gas station, Mom. And she says, huh, oh, okay. But she seems to be wondering why it is a gas station, even as we're sitting in front of the gas pumps where I parked the car. If Mom really is at this point with her mind fading, wait, what does that sentence mean? Let me try that again. If Mom really is at, okay, that sentence just makes no sense. I'll have to edit that later. I'm going to read it as is. If Mom really is at this point with her mind fading, then I can see I'll not be moving back home. That is for certain. Dad won't last 3 days without someone running interference. Poor guy. From an objective viewpoint, she's running down his clock by asking him to constantly check hers, asking him to hold her clock, fix her clock, reset her clock. And then after he does all that, she unconsciously breaks her clock again. As for me, I already know that I can't take care of both of them like this for long. I'm already worn out after 7 days. We need a home health aide soon. If Dad doesn't believe me and he can't see what's happening with Mom, what does that mean for me? How do I manage that? It means that I have to manage how he manages her. I'm then telling him how to manage his own wife. How do I work that out exactly? If he doesn't see it, then when I say it, he looks at me like I am cruel. I'm telling him his wife is failing and that she's not herself. Is it that he doesn't want to see it? Or that he refuses? And is there even a difference between those things? Is his mind working right? But I know that they talk about me when they think I can't hear. I've heard them whispering, again, at normal talking volume that they don't realize isn't a whisper. I've heard them whispering that I'm trying to control them. They actually talk about me like I am a spy in their midst. Objectively, what's true is that I'm vying for power. I am trying to wrest control away from them because on their own, they are becoming a danger to themselves. Updated, 6:56 p.m. I'm penning this at Quality Pie on the edge of historic Belmont. Side note, Belmont is like, it probably used to be a town that was next to Charlottesville, but now you can't tell any difference, but it still acknowledges itself as like the historic Belmont neighborhood, one of my favorite neighborhoods in Charlottesville. Anyway, I'm penning this at Quality Pie on the edge of historic Belmont. I came here for salvation, and I found it in Tomas's White Beans and Chorizo. Tomas is the chef/owner of Quality Pie. It's a delicious bowl of saucy white beans and chorizo sourced from Spain with distinction, I might add, and 2 small pork cutlets sitting on the top. I am also served 6 slices of homemade salted focaccia with extra virgin olive oil for dipping, a homemade monster-sized gourmet chocolate chip cookie, a cup of oh-so-good Cafe Americano double shot. Hell, even the water here tastes good. It's not stretching the truth to say that I feel this food saved me from despair. Here is why I needed this particular break. We were cleaning up the remainder of our things from Stuart's house to drive back to Forest, Virginia in separate cars. Sidebar, we were doing the big move, right? Getting out of Stuart's, moving to Virginia after I made the decision. I also had my paycheck from my one active client waiting in the mailbox there at Stuart's, or so I thought. I have maybe $450 in my bank account, which also means that's all the money I have in the world. And I needed this $800 client check really bad. I got to Stuart's, I looked in the mailbox, and it wasn't there. Panic sets in. My account is probably going to be in the negative. Fees will add up. I grab my phone and I look at the email that I sent to my client. I had given him the wrong address. How? Because it was probably 2 a.m. when I emailed him, and my brain was fucking running on empty after another 12-hour day dealing with mom. I remember checking and double-checking the fucking address before I sent it, and I still got it wrong. So now the check that would have saved my bank account from going into default is in limbo. Who the fuck knows where it is? I say nothing to my parents. I look up, and I discover that Dad has a big gouge on his head. He is so tired. He hit his head on the edge of a dresser at Stuart's house. Then getting into the car as we packed it, he hit his head again. I go inside Stuart's house from the mailbox to police mom to make sure she doesn't try to go up and down the stairs as we remove the rest of our belongings. I'm feeling shaky, tense, angry, fucking angry. I'm going to go broke from helping my parents. I think about my brother. Why isn't he helping as he promised? Why didn't I tell my parents I was in a pinch and just ask them for a bit to get me through the month? Well, I already had. They paid my rent. This is also the price I pay for trying to respect their wishes that I am not yet listed as financial power of attorney. Were I wouldn't have to bother them. I would have respectfully moved enough money to make sure my account wouldn't bottom out until I figured all this client check issue stuff out. So no one is having any fun right now, but mainly me. Then I hear glass shattering. When I pulled out some pillows from underneath the bed that my mom had been sleeping on, it had snagged on a 16-inch by 20-inch piece of art glass that had been under there too, and it pulled it neatly into the center of the carpet, where I stepped right the fuck on it. I'm instantly pissed off. I think Mom had placed it there in her absent-mindedness, and I sharply say, "Mom, why did you put that glass there?" Then I realized it was my foot that caught the edge of it and dragged it out. I apologize. She bends over and starts picking up the glass pieces. Oh, hell no. I stop her. I just broke the art glass of the guy who was so nice he gave us a free house. Fucking terrific. What a fucking day. Instantly, I see and feel how this will add to my day and obligations. I now have to pack up the house, find my paycheck that is in postal service limbo, hope my account won't bounce, take care of Mom and Dad, clean up the broken glass from this deep carpet, and replace said broken glass with a piece of exact size and dimensions and thickness glass, and then still drive to Forest, Virginia, all today. And Stuart will be home soon for Halloween trick-or-treating in his neighborhood. I have to get it done before he sees this. So, I pack up the car, the one car, I wave my parents out of the driveway. It's just me here now. I head to the nearest Michael's store with a piece of broken glass to dial in the replacement thickness and a cardboard cutout that is 16 by 20 inches. On the way, I'm just trying to breathe and in rush hour traffic. It's breezy as fuck outside. In fact, there's a tornado watch in effect. It's fall. Students at UVA are in costume, leaves swirling all around, and in between them as they walk through their lives to a future they know nothing about. Traffic is thick, people driving badly in the light sprinkles of rain, jaywalkers taking risks, daring me to be in the hurry that I think I have to be in. I notice the sunlight on my arms because the light peeks out between mad, rushing gray clouds. The hairs on my forearm in the window bluster breezily. Stunning beauties on the sidewalks let their hair toss and flail in the wind, reminding me of how old I am becoming. And sidebar, as I am writing this, Quality Pie is empty, except for myself, Mary, and Tomas, and we are all quietly singing Yellow Brick Road by Elton John as it plays on the radio. For these last 12 years, my life has been about how to find peace in a life where you really have the illusion of freedom removed entirely. All my parenting moves were dictated by my ex-wife. I have been in a narrow and suffocating single parenting funnel that my ex was able to legally prescribe for me and for my kids. My life has been nothing like my parents' lives. Comparatively, my mom and dad are new to all this. They have had the lasting illusion of mastery over their lives. They worked hard. Things went according to plan. They got the houses. They got the jobs. They got the retirement funds. They got the vacations. 100% upper middle class Americana. What they didn't plan for is that all that goes right down the drain once you get older, when you start to forget how to get home from the grocery store. It's hard for me to be hopeful when I am around them. That's something easy to admit. My mom and dad emit such a powerful field effect of defeat. They don't feel their importance in the big picture of their lives. They are hard-pressed to feel the poetry. When I'm left to my own devices, my own field, I feel despair, but it's upon a canvas of meaning, and that overpowers the despair. It's just clouds in the sky, but my parents don't have that canvas. And man, that sounds harsh, right? That sounds harsh, but it's true. They don't believe in or see their inherent goodness. They see themselves as objects, as things. It's very much a Cartesian way of seeing their role in the world. I keep coming back to this. They live in their minds, and the mind is always going to fail the spirit test. I want better for them. And that's where I'm ending today's reading. And I'll do the little outro here. So, I do want to mention, as you are listening to these stories, just remember, these are my experiences. Not all cancers, not all dementias produce the same behaviors that I witnessed and experienced. And before we go, let's talk about that Project logo cover art. It's made by my youngest kid, Zoe. And yes, that's a photo of me climbing out of my mom's actual pillbox from 2020, thanks to the magic of Photoshop. And the intro and outro song, You Can't Stop Humming Out Loud, well, that's an original tune composed and sung by my eldest kid, Quinn. He recorded this when he was helping me take care of Mom, and he even played it for her. Last but not least, I had that soundtrack mastered by Jay Siebold at sieboldsound.com. If you ever need sound mastering and mixing work, be sure to look him up at sieboldsound.com, and I have him linked in the show notes. On YouTube, I've also posted a standalone video of just that song in case you want to play it on repeat like I do. Links to both the podcast and the YouTube versions will always be in the show notes descriptions on either platform. See you next time.
If you want to know what I think, I won't give that up for free. Put a penny in the crusher, on the back's my memory. I'll hold real still, you take the shot, but I don't want to see whether it turns out or not. It's all the same to me. If you want to know how I feel, put me down and walk away. My hands are already bloodied here in bed. I think I'll stay. In dreams I face dread most mundane when walking down the street. My pounding heart shocks me awake the moment our eyes meet.